And what about Bruce Hunt?
Everywhere that Bruce went, everything he did, he was loved and admired by everybody. I didn't get on well with Bruce because I must have got off at the start on the wrong foot. Bruce was never very fond of me, so you can imagine it was probably reciprocal.
Yes.
But for all I've saw of him and everything I've heard about him, he was just an outstanding medical officer on the railway line.
I don't think it'd be out of place for me to say this, that when I first mentioned Bruce's name to you, you said not a man you liked, but a man you admired. But I also know that when he went through to Burma, he was rather confrontationist to the Japanese, to the point when it actually was to the disadvantage of the group on occasions.
Yes.
Could you identify maybe that characteristic?
I can comment on that this way, that whenever I came up against the Japanese and they demanded this and demanded something else, I took the attitude that if I didn't do what they asked me to do, they would do it anyhow. I was never confrontation with the Japanese. I never stood up on foot with the Japanese. I reckon that I did better off by going along with them as much as I could and then doing things the way I wanted to do them.
Yes.
Bruce was the opposite. Bruce stood up all the time and he got bashed up for doing it. Roy Mills did the same. He stood up for the Japanese and he got bashed up for it. I don't think either of them achieved any more than I did. Perhaps I achieved just as much, I think, by going my way. That's my opinion.
Yes. Were you aware that Hunt took 2,000 of the sickest members of F-Force into Burma to try and keep them alive, virtually?
No. Yeah. I lost track of Bruce when he moved off forward to the troops, and I had nothing to do with him after that.
Yeah. Did he walk through your camp at any time?
Yes, I
recall.
think on a couple of occasions Bruce came through.
Now, a member of F-Force that seems to have sort of disappeared off the landscape was Major Bon Rogers. Can you tell us anything about Bon and where you think he might have got to?
No. All I know about Bon was that I saw him in Changi camp, and he was a very lovely fellow, nice old gentleman.
Yes.
I can't remember him being much of a doctor, but he was very good with the troops. They all loved him.
So was he older than most?
Yes, he was older than all of us. A lot older.
Actually, I found his son in Sydney. Lloyd Cahill put me onto him. Lives near Lloyd. Yeah. Maybe if I could just run back over these doctors to see whether there was any of them had actually a specialty. What was Lloyd's specialty?
Lloyd Cahill?
Yeah.
He afterward Jamel.
No, up there. What? Like some.
Just a general practitioner.
Yes. So John Taylor.
John was the same.
Yes. So there were no specialists in this.
Neither of those two were specialists.
Except Hunt must have been a specialist.
Hunt was supposed to be. He was a physician.
Yes.
Member of the College of Physicians.
Yes.
And Frank Cahill was a surgeon.
Yes. Yes. What about Stevens? Any idea about him? No. Roy, GP?
Roy, just a GP.
And Bon Rogers was
just a GP.
Yeah, okay. Now, talking about some of the Japanese who were in that area, did you have any contact with Colonel Banno?
Yes, I did. I can remember Colonel Banno well in Nicky camp. He was. I was most impressed with him as an old English gentleman. But he was Japanese, of course, but he was that sort of person. He had that fatherly look about him, always had a nice genial smile on his face, and I think he was thrown into a job that he would have hated. He was never made out to be the boss of the prisoner of war camp. He had a good sense of humour because Colonel Harris was the senior British medical officer at Nicky camp, who was very proud of the fact that he was a South African boxing champion, that he was a British dancing champion, amongst other things, And he was very proud of his and Banno used to take the mickey out of him saying, "Stand up, Colonel Harris, straighten your back up." That's the sort of fellow Banno was.
It's really hard to...
He took the mickey out of Colonel Harris on many occasions.
Yes. What about some of these other people who had a very poor reputation? I mean, Banno was sentenced to 3 years or 5 years imprisonment after the war, but there was Fukuda and Moriyama.
Fukuda, I remember.
Yeah. Moriyama was with caused Roy a lot of grief.
Yes, I didn't know him.
No. Okay. What about some of these dreadful NCOs like Toyama? Yeah. Did you have any contact with him?
See, I've told you before. After Nicky, I never went out onto the railway line. I never left the camps.
Yes.
Which is a pity looking back on it, because I think if we'd gone out on the railway line with the troops, we'd have understood things a lot better.
Yes.